talk. My name is Sarah Cunningham. I serve as RISD's Vice Provost for Strategic Partnerships. I work with faculty, departments, and many RISD centers and offices to build partnerships that transform our ways of making, that show how arts and design contribute to social justice, and explore novel research activities to support sustainability through art and design methodologies. I will probably cross your path at some point in your future if I haven't crossed your path already. I hope to. RISD is excited to partner with Phaidon and Kering to host Patricia Urquiola and celebrate women in design as we begin Women's History Month. Certainly, RISD would not exist without the connection between women and design. So we deeply understand the significance of female, feminine, and femme-identifying designers. In 2021, Phaidon published Woman Made, a new book that spotlights trailblazing women product designers from more than 50 countries, including Patricia Urquiola. This is the book. Kering partnered with Phaidon to create awareness of the project through Kering's Women in Motion program, committed to supporting arts and culture by putting women in the spotlight. Together, Kering and Phaidon are also pleased to announce a new scholarship program. The Women in Motion Design Scholarship is an award of up to $25,000 to support one outstanding undergraduate woman designer. It will go towards supporting their college tuition for the 2022-2023 school year. To apply for the scholarship or learn more, there's a website, www.thewomanmade.com. We're also very grateful to the collaboration with RISD Furniture for this presentation, and would like to welcome American furniture designer, educator, and former RISD president, Roseanne Somerson, Roseanne will introduce Patricia. Roseanne, as many of you know, co-founded the RISD Furniture Department in 1995 and then served as RISD president from 2015 to 2021. She now serves as president emerita. Welcome, Roseanne.
Well, it's so nice to be back. Thank you, Sarah, for that lovely introduction. And I also really want to express my thanks to Phaidon and Kering for supporting both this event and the phenomenal Women in Motion Scholarship. Investing in women is a very smart move, and yet opportunities are often very hard for some women to gain access to. And as many of you know, when I was president at RISD, access and scholarships were one of my very top priorities, and we raised a lot of money for scholarships. And so I had a chance to meet many of the young women who were recipients of these scholarships, and they absolutely changed lives. And then these are women who will change the future. So thank you so much for this wonderful scholarship. It's great for you all to be here today, and I want to mention a thanks to RISD Strategic Partnerships and the Furniture Design Department for today's special event, which is all about celebrating women on International Women's Day, and a particularly amazing International Woman designer. It's such an honor to introduce Patricia Urquiola, who is a designer who has influenced the contemporary landscape of design in profound ways. She's also one of my most admired designers, which makes this particularly special. Patricia has designed work in many scales, from intimate objects to large-scale interiors and fixtures. She has taught and lectured at the best design schools, conferences, and events across the globe. She has received numerous accolades, including from ADI Design Index, the International Design Yearbook, the IMM Cologne Award, Good Design Awards from the Chicago Athenaeum, the Red Dot Award, the Elle Decoration International Awards, and many, many others. She is also the recipient of multiple Designer of the Year awards by international publications. And as I'm sure you know, her work has been exhibited in and collected by major museums across the globe. Patricia grew up in Oviedo, Spain, and studied architecture in Madrid before she transferred to the Politecnico di Milano, studying with the likes of Achilles Castiglione, Vico Magistretti, and Maddalena de Padova. She learned from some of the greatest world finest designers, but also many of them were active practitioners, so she learned this balance of both personal practice and teaching and professional practice. Even with these extraordinary influences, Patricia emerged with a wholly personal and groundbreaking style that broke boundaries and that pushed her research to create links between craftsmanship and industrial production, heritage with innovation, and technology beyond its given parameters. Patricia remains on the Politecnico Advisory Board and is also an advisor to the famed Triennale Museum, whose groundbreaking exhibitions continue to drive design into the future. She's taught in the master's program in interior design at the Domus Academy in Milan, and has also been the creative director of Cassina since 2015. Prior to her position there, the company had not featured a women designer in a significant role since Charlotte Perriand decades earlier. At Cassina, she has worked with the top Italian and international design brands in the world on projects as far-ranging as furniture, textiles, interiors, workspaces, hotels, yachts, corporate exhibitions, museums, and more. In all of these projects, her design philosophy is evident. She describes her methodology as one that merges humanistic, technological, and social approaches. With deep sensitivity and insight, her designs address big challenges while breaking down preconceptions. As such, the outcomes forge new territories, often resulting in unexpected connections between the familiar and the unexplored. In every project, she emphasizes the importance of designing with empathy, thinking about people in relation to spaces and objects, always keeping the human at the core. In addition, she acknowledges that the discipline of design demands structure, one that she defines. And I quote, "I always remember Achille Castiglione, one of my mentors, and he said that in design you have the idea, the fantasy, the concepts. That's the marmalade, but the constraint of the brief is the bread. You need both in order to find structure for your ideas." Patricia also drives the brands that she works with to upcycle once wasted material and tries to reimagine entire processes that lead them to change, to evolve, and to innovate around issues of sustainability, bringing her ethics and commitment to help define a better future, something that resonates deeply with us here at RISD. Using her talents for good, Patricia was also a key member of a fundraising project by Luminaire, their Love fundraising series, where she, along with several other renowned designers, donated their time to create one-of-a-kind designs, which helped Luminaire raise close to $1 million for cancer research. As a groundbreaking leading designer, Patricia is certainly a role model for women and underrepresented individuals in the design industries. For all of us, she is an exemplar of using her talents, her business instincts, and her excitement about taking risks to define new territories with a humane focus. Never one to concede to limitations, she has said, "I think time is a constraint to destroy and then reinvent. If you give me a constraint, I'll accept it, but I always try to move it around or to readapt it. If you lock me in a room, well, I'll go out through the window." That fearlessness and refusal to be defined by limitations, to instead be driven by ethics and invention, all sounds very familiar to what RISD students are deeply engaged in learning to do. This is all the more reason why we are so honored to welcome you to RISD. Thank you.
Hello. Allora, let me find here. Hello, everybody. I was speaking in the back of you, and they said to me that the possibility of taking this off. What do you think? Because I think perhaps you will see me, with more normal approach. There, come on. We are also vaccinated, I hope. Bueno, hello everybody. Super honored to be here. I moved to here. Perhaps if I have some problems, I come back there. And I'm a designer, but my studies were as architect. I born north of Spain, but I moved in the middle of my studies to Italy. Then in Italy, design and architecture, they were mixed. Then I ended more focus on design. Then in my profession, I come back to architecture. And then all these things are always crossovers. No? I begin with an image, with a fabric. For example, just to say, we were visiting now the laboratories of textile. I always enjoy strongly working in very different layers. For example, the textile that was the moment we were doing the photo, and I liked it that moment. But at the same time was the back of this first image we did for an exhibition. We did just before the last 2 crazy years. And was in February, just before the lockdown, and it was open in Madrid, and we call it Nature Morte Vivante in French. But I remember that the exhibition was interesting. I'm not going to speak a lot. I'm not going to show you, especially, pieces of my work, of design, of architecture. I prefer to share with you what about my life, or the connections or the intentions in between the projects. I think things which I think much more important to understand a little bit of me we are sharing this moment. That was at the end a little box at the end of the exhibition that I was putting some pieces that for me were important in that moment. That was there was the mask already, but it was February, just before speaking about COVID. Then my friend doing the exhibition with us would say, there was the little app, and my name is PU, Patricia Urquiola, but app is my little avatar. A little bit Shandon is a little bit with wings, is a little bit stupid, a little bit open-minded. And there is a book of fantastic of Hans Ulrich Olbrich that I think is an incredible curator and artist. I think from our generation, which is he's writing now a book, something that in the opening of the book there was this phrase that I love it. Don't let anyone call you eclectic. I said that's fantastic. The idea of our curiosity that moves our path in this moment, it must be so open to so many arguments that I think the complexity which is surrounding us is a word much more interesting than eclectic. Then I thought was ironic and very interesting. That was the exhibition, just to make you understand. There were numbers with different arguments, more about my empathic travels with the company. But at the end, there was the fifth space, was about contaminations. And I was showing different contaminations of my work with other kind of people, circumstances I didn't know will happen to me. But in the wall, I was just putting 3 minutes of my phone. My phone is, as all of you, it's my extension of my mind. And this extension of my mind has a lot of secrets of what about a designer life. Perhaps much more interesting than just to see an object, I think, today. And we were just putting this random thing, and there were coming a lot of things, because obviously our memories now are not done only with images, are done with videos too. I think today to explain your work through images, or you do, for example, a lesson dedicated to one project, and you do a very clean, objective and defined work. But if not, your life is all going together, that was experiences of different, that we were in Sicily, for example. We were in Costa Rica. At Costa Rica, we went the family traveling, but at the end, one person of the work came with us, and now we are doing a work with this person that we met in. Then I think our work as designers and architects is a mix of circumstances. For example, one of the major mayor of Bilbao, a city in the north of Spain, asked me to do a jar that they were putting in many restaurants. People were drinking the water of the city, and we were helping to do wells in another part in Africa. Then I've been always involved in many. I love this moment. I love the testing moment. I love. Then we know that it's not working. Then what we do, we have to change the legs, and this is our life for testing fabrics. Those were the first PET fabrics, yarns we had a few years ago, and we were very proud. This was the first felter we were doing with a melted, reused felter. Then it was like a kind of I liked it a lot the first time we were showing it, and it was the first time we were doing those carpets that were done in a plastic material that became circular material. Or the moment in China, or for example, that is the beach from the north of Spain where I come from. That was the first. Those moments I love them. If I am in a company, they are sewing or doing anything. I am in the middle then I'm asking and let us try, let us do. Obviously, the digital world is part of us. And that is, for example, an armchair we done with all recycled materials. And was the day I arrived to the studio. You are the people working with me. I have my home and studio all together. Then there is a lot of transparency and a lot of, so my work and life, they go together. This was the day we were trying that piece that was done all in recycled materials, and we were really calm because finally we had and the prototype was coming from sneakers. My idea was not coming from aesthetics of normal furniture, and we were enjoying a lot. We are doing a big work in this direction, and perhaps nobody wanted, but I love a lot, and we are working on it. That is important thing. And just to make you hear, this is the everyday work. That is, for example, an image. We did a book. I didn't do, we are preparing a book now. But when we did that book, for me, it was very important to introduce it in a way that was not only, me there and signing and blah, blah. Then we took the book, me and the owner of a little gallery in Milano, which is Milan, which is a very good friend. And we were, I was sending him up one page each other, and we were drawing over the pages. Then we put all the pages around the room, and that was, I think, like a little installation in relation to the book. Then was very interesting. The happening was a nice happening. That was my beginning. A student. I was in Milano doing. I was a kind of carpet, electronic working carpet connected to was an e-carpet, but my e-carpet, you could be doing anything. You were connecting lamps, and everything was connected to my island. But at a certain moment, when the teachers were coming into it, we were throwing all the water. Then everybody went out of the carpet, but the carpet was thawed in a way that was absolutely not dangerous. Today, with electronics, we know what about, but electricity a few years ago was really always an argument, very fun. And it was the map of my mental map. I like it in the thesis. And this mental map is together with another mental map. The teacher of my thesis was Achille Castiglione. That was an incredible architect and designer that gave us so much in our faculty in architectura. And his mind, for me, was a kind of interrelation in between argument. Then when we did an exhibition, the Triennale, which is a museum in Milano, I had the luck to do the centenary of his birth, and we did an exhibition into Triennale dedicated to him, and I liked it a lot, the honor to go through all the archives and anything that was related to the person that was the first one giving me, making me focus on design. And it's interesting because when you have to do a work like this, you are designer, you are architect, you are artist, you have to communicate with others. As always, he was always teaching us that to do an installation, you use many sides of your sensibility. Then this, for example, there were 100 little lamps of him that when you were crossing the room, they were acting. Then when they were speaking to you, there was his voice, a lot of things were happening. One was connected to another one, then was an interactive space. And that was another bigger space where there was the immense, incredible quantity of work he did by his own and with his brother. Then that was a moment very important for me because I could think about for quite 2 years about how to understand and tell about someone which is very influent for yourself, no? Here we are in the middle of COVID time, and museums, they react to in a very interesting way. Maxi, which is a museum from Rome in Italy, asked me to be part of Maxi Casa Mondo, a project, and I had to do from home, send them for 5 days, 3 images a day, telling my relation with the net from my home and my work. Then I call it Uquiola Private Home, and I create my little avatar. That was 2 years ago, and I began to do that. It is the work. This is a little work done from home, but for me, I think it's as representative as the other work I was showing to you. I've done something here. Oh my goodness. Ecco. No, it's okay. Allora, a bit of too much energy, which is classic of me. Then one was the beginning, me in the morning, looking to this lady, or for example, getting through my moments of reading books in new way, or moments where I'm taking care of my plants and my dog is connecting with other dogs by my net, capito? By my computer, or because it was my avatar story. Then I had a lot of freedom. I was in a digital world. Then taking care of my computer, making it asleep, and taking care to do a nap, or me getting into the space. This is a reference to our work from the 60s that we were working in that period, or doing my gym and my yoga with my dog too, my pet, you can call it. And here taking a bath and then getting another dimension, which is, I think, the water put you on that, or doing my homework, that obviously is an alive material, just a bio work. Then is growing my little new pieces, and that was the argument. I like the idea because at the end, this work was a way to understand how could I have another interface to relate to the world in a moment where it was so you understand, we are more or less 60, 70 people because we do architecture, design, and I live normally with, I don't say perhaps you are more than my team, but we are a lot of people. We are a real community, and we were alone in that period. Then I appreciate a lot they were asking to me. But at the same time, from Melbourne, they call us to participate to a Triennale. The Triennale, it is there in the middle of, that was the last year. And I said, well, we participate, but we don't know how to get Australia and everything. And we did a project. They asked us to do an installation in this room, where is this masterpiece from the 60s, which is a glass wall, fantastic. And they wanted me to do something in the floor. Then I said, as I traveled a few times to Australia, and it's a society so easy in so many ways, with behaviors which are always making you feel in a kind of extra comfort way of living and adapting. Then I would say everybody without shoes. Then it's a place for socks. Then we did those a big island of all these socks done with my circular felter that we were producing in India, then arrived to Europe, and then there was traveling that was a bit complex, but then we created that piece and we sent it to them, and the Melbourne Triennale began in I think in January, but my pieces were stopped somewhere. Then they never arrived. Then they arrived after 1 month. then I lived that thing to be into an exhibition and arrive by mouth late. This is it's been very interesting. We learned a lot about this, and it's been really and I think everything born from a work of design. Then many times it's beauty to share with you from a project of design that was just doing this circular new filter. Came the possibility when they ask you to get into a project of architecture or of art to go through it and to create the right symphony to go through. That was a very nice moment because we were getting PET yarns, and I wanted to do the argument or the narrative and to hang it in the walls, and they were doing that in the roof, and they were saying to me, that is okay, Patrick, yes, no, change this, put there. Then was a very nice period. Those, for me, I think the textile has been always very important. At the beginning of my work, I thought was not, because I was architecto, was three-dimensional. I went a lot with the companies to work with any kind of laboratory of other parts of materials, as metals, wood, anything. Then, but textile was getting into my path in my life, and in the last 20 years, and I believe a lot. For example, this is another research I'm doing with another company, where we have the yarns, and they produce in Nepal, and we find the right colors for the work and they send to them, and then they give us, for example, part of the little yellow yarns and stripes, and the green and the red, they are done with sari recycled material. Then the wool is a natural material, but as we have to get into colors, half of the carpet is done with the melting pot of all those materials. Then how to work, half of the project is new, but the other one is already from the beginning, already thinking how can be reused part of what we are doing. Then it was a very nice work. That was the day we had the carpet in our courtyard. We live in a courtyard in between our house and another friends, and we were seeing, and I like it a lot. It was in the middle of pandemic too. That was interesting. I love this. Ricardo, one of my architects, was trying, and we were so proud that we had the piece was working. Or for example, this is with Capellini. Capellini is a company from Italia which I am working sometimes. I know they are working, doing a little laboratory with you, because he told me 2 days ago, because we were doing the evolution of this armchair. And Giulio Capellini, which is another person incredible, I will love that you can have contact, because it's part of the story of design of Italia. And I was doing an armchair. We had the all inside, the black frame is all done in recycled plastic, which is was quite tough because we had to get the dimensions were big, then was complex, but everything was okay. But the dress I had to do all in the studio because we couldn't do a lot of crossovers. Then I was very happy that day we had already the first prototype working. Then I was getting inside, and I was sending that to my client, saying that now we have it. I call the armchair exists, and it's well because it's thought as with a piece which is you can take all the dismantle in the right way. Then all these arguments that we know as fundamental in the way we can approach the world. This is an image of. Allora, we worked for a few years with BMW. The car company, and it's been interesting work because I said from the beginning I'm not interested in cars. Then perhaps I'm not the right one. And they, yes, no, it's not important, it's okay. We want that you do a kind of conceptual car, is like as an art piece, that you do a kind of your research. Then I did it with Quadrat, which is a fabric company from Denmark, which is very interesting, and is with the flows. And we did technical things, technological side, but the research about what about a travel, the long travels in cars was the most important thing. The name was the Julien Lab, and I was doing with Giulio Ridolfo. I like a lot to share always projects with people, which are contaminations with people from my land or from other lands. Then it's part of my work. And I covered the car. There was no more car, obviously, as I said to them. And the idea was that for any window you see into the car, you find a different interest and different arguments. Then it was interesting. It was very interesting the way I like it a lot. The idea of if you have the little seat for the baby into a car, that's another word into the word. Then they were coming all the things. Or for example, I was saying why you can arrive to incredible level of leather, and you can even need to use human leather to do best cars. I was provocative in the conversation with them, and perhaps we have to go into other kind of materials, because if we are going to be in a place living and with self-driving, is going to be much more interesting, the argument how we live inside a piece for moving, and not only the engines. It's not going to be anymore our argument. Then it was interesting, the conversation. Then we began a path, and for example, that was in Welt, in Monaco, in Munich, in their head office, and they asked me to do to create a space as architect, and I knew about this machine that they were doing, a robotic new kind of flooring, very interesting, not like with new kind of resin, that in a certain way. Then was the occasion to do, then any occasion, any relation with a client can be an occasion to experiment something. If you propose in the right way, if you make the circumstance, everything can happen, and that was the reality. And then this summer, after the work I was saying to you, no, that was the last summer, the one for Maxi. But this summer they asked me, can you do for us digital work, because they are working now with many circular materials. Then they wanted I was creating for them little circular areas, because they were doing a kind of lab for young people, and long story. Then I like it a lot. I'm working with them, but I'm not working, doing what should be the classical or the stereotyped idea of a designer working with a company. Cassina is a company which is now, when we did the 95 years anniversary 4 years ago, and we are running to the 100 years. It's an honor to be our director. It's a complex work. We are a big team, and we need continuously to speak with new designers, but at the same time with all the foundations of maestros that they are not anymore, and other people that are part of the company. Then it's a big complexity, and the company, when we did the first anniversary a few years ago, about the 95 years, we were the 90 years. We were. I wanted to do into a building that Herzog de Meron were doing in Milano, and we found a way to open just even when the building and the foundation Feltrinelli was quite not open. Then I'm very happy that we get into this first approach to the company. And for example, that is a company that we have more than 20 pieces from Charlotte Perriand, which is a woman that worked with, as we know, with Le Corbusier and Jean Herré, but it's a woman that did an amazing work even after working with Le Corbusier, and we help it a lot now, for example, in an exhibition that has been done with Fondation Vuitton in Paris, and Cassina, we were in the back helping a lot. Then I got another time, I do like this. Okay. That was part of our word, our idea of the future of the company. And the walls, they were pink and they were looking very gentle. But when you were moving, the walls were speaking to you. There were coming things from the wall. There were images. It was very, I like it a lot, the way we were speaking to the people with a different attitude. The company, we've been working as architect too. Then we did the last 2 years part of the building, but now we are renovating another part, and we will work till to the next 5-6 years. And it's a work that I like a lot because it's a path that goes with you and goes with the relation. Then we speak about design, we speak about many things, but we speak about architecture too. That is part of my work. Me, I'm part of the designers in the company. Then, for example, you see this conventional seat, but it's a seat done all with new kind of padding, circular material. Then all the materials which are used inside the product, I think is not so easy to find in other places. How the big attention and the way we are thinking how to produce things. Then that I'm very happy about that because it's really a deep work done in many directions. Here, for example, we did the space which is in Milan and Via Turini. Then we did the architecture, and now we are going to do a very interesting exhibition the next months. Many times I've been interested in mixing my idea of reality and virtuality. Then I think those two words live in my mind for a long time together. This was an artist doing a work for us for telling little stories about design that were melted with the physical ambience. Then that was, for example, one of the videos. That was a chair we were doing, but the chair was connected with the production of another armchair. That was then I like it a lot to mix this kind of languages together. It's something that is then my work is not only about design or architecture, but is about how to create a language in the company, how to insert all the foundations in relation, and it's very interesting from that side. I wanted to go on. If you see that place, for example, now in September, we did the last presentation, and we wanted this artist that was putting these two persons that were the inside of because as we were working a lot in the inside of the sittings and working with new circular materials, then we were creating a personaggio, the boy that was, sometimes there was a modelino in some hours of the day. He was coming and he got really bored, like in relation with all of us. At the same, we were speaking about the fabrics and and then the fabrics became part of the circumstance. Then we are always thinking new ways of approaching the way to communicate. This is always in our courtyard. This is one of my designers. It's a textile designer, and the dog of one of my architects. We had a dog exactly the same, but from our family who died. Then that is the mood of our life, and this is one of the carpet we've been doing the last year because we knew a group of women in Nepal. The husband went to work to Dubai more and more, and they have the big structure for doing rugs, and they have a lot of problems. Then what is the way they can work in an easier way? And then they said to me, for them to work in this kind of magmatic way, because they do tigers from a long time. The grandmothers, they do the tigers from Nepal, and then if you want to do the tigers, I would say, I think the tigers perhaps I'm not going to work, but if I translate my tiger to my clouds, and I give them always this, and then we give them always the lines. They create the lines, and then they work in a very easy way. Then to use the energy of a process of design is not only related to technology, it's related to many other things. That was the way we were interested, and happened to me, really, I tell you, because for me it's been strange. A company from Italy, Max Mara, they asked me the last 3 months to do a capsule of fashion. I would say, fashion, I don't know. I always did mess. If I have a jacket that is not working well, after a bit I cut it and I add a thing. I'm this kind of part of this community, but it's not more complex than this. And they asked us to do a work related to all these carpets in the place of them. Then here you see the carpet we were doing and part of the work we are doing. Or, for example, a work we have done with White that was just another capsule thing done. Or, for example, with Louis Vuitton in December, we they asked me to do a display of Genomad that they have, and we created with a kind of foam done with corn and cork. Ecco. The mix of them, we create a kind of foam, and we did a quite interesting place. And then we created videos, digital, that they were really mixed with the products. Then the sensation when you were there was interesting, because I was, I think, working in a world that for me is very interesting to translate to you. That's, for example, for is two hospitals. They are doing fundraising, very interesting. Then we are participating, me and other two architects doing, and then it's a work that is born in 3D printing, then became ceramic, and it's an interesting other passage of my life. Just to make you, comunque, we are the students, I think, comunque, just in the Donna Haraway, I think, is very important, I think, important book in the last research I'm doing. Emanuele Coccia is a philosopher that I was really nearby us, and we were yesterday in Boston with him, and he's teaching now as visiting professor in Harvard, and I'm so proud, because I think it has an incredible energy. This has an attitude to create new links in between different professions and things. That is our work we've done the last year, always in COVID time. Then very complex to access was in Napoli, Capodimonte. They are doing porcelain from the 700, and they are a bit lost. And I went to visit the museum and the school. And they have woods all around, and it's in the middle of the city, and the nature is incredible. But I think they are a bit lost. Then I said, I'm not going to give you some pieces. We are going to do another thing. They have a courtyard in the middle of the school. That there was a drawing saying they will do a garden, but I said, the garden? They said, no, by the moment we have no money, no way to do it. Then I said, let us do a project. We take all the moss from the woods, we take materials, we put everything in porcelain, we create a kind of a new approach to all these materials. We do a kind of little garden. We created a space about 5 meters for 5 meters, and we expose with the kind of garden. We did how si dice una vendita, an auction we did, and in the night we got the money to do the garden. Then a project can give, what I believe a lot, part of our path is, perhaps they ask you to do an object. They are working with a company and they are doing sittings, and then you can interact with them. But perhaps if you, through that project, you give them a lot of promise and say, what you are doing is limited from here, then perhaps you make them grow in another way. Conversations take other conversations, and projects, they are not only. That is a garden that now we will do this summer because we got the money, and I said, to work with Capodimonte means that. For example, that's another company working with marble. And I said, I went to visit the company. I said, okay, I want the B-side, because normally in marble, the architects go and get the best part of marble. And there is always the B-side they have, and they don't know very well what to do. My work with them is for more than 7 years. They had a earthquake in the middle of everything, and they called me saying, you will know how to do with it. That is the work we were doing with the earthquake leftovers, and that is part of the work we do. Then we can do magnificent works, which are, it's an interesting way of researching with them, but at the same time we do with leftovers little tables and things. Then can be a company very sophisticated, or can be very simple, that there is a lot to work or to change the conversation. Here's a work with fabrics that I'm doing with Quadrat, or a work in ceramic with Mutina. For me, it's a land of coming from a digital pattern. Then it's we've done it 6-7 years ago. Or, for example, the work we are doing, I'm just quite nearby the end. This is, for example, we were in the expo in Dubai. One of the first travel after all this strange period. And this is a chair we've done, which is a typology. Quite the swivel chair, classical, but it's done in plastic. But the shell is not only plastic, it's a bioplastic. We win a few awards. We are very happy because this bioplastic normal shells with a big mold is not so easy to do. Then you have to be very insistent to convince the whole process to do it. Then we are very happy that it's going and it's working. As the PAT carpet, which is in the back, that we win in New York short time ago, another award. I was very happy this September too. Or this, for example, working with Hayward, a company from America, and saying to them, okay, if you have the technology to have those bigger screens where people can be connected and you can share a lot of work, I need that we ask to an artist from Barcelona, an artist from the West Coast, and an artist in Chicago to put them together to create a lot of little pieces of the company, and then we re-begin our interior design attitude. Then we created a map of little tools, and to put them together was an incredible workshop. Now I want to rework on this one with all the new things after 6 years, and because I think it's very I think was really advanced the way we were approaching this. And they thought I was a little bit joking. Then it was the beginning. Or I make them do a new hotel in Holland, in Michigan, in a place where normally when I was traveling there, I said, oh, it is so cold. And then I was saying, and the hotels are not working. I was always complaining. Then they said to me again, in the middle of pandemic, they said to me, okay, then you do a hotel, we give you this college of university, and it's going to be for the university, but it's going to be for our clients. And we've done it. I've done it from Milan. We couldn't see each other, but it now exists, is a reality, and the whole community of the city is using it. And I'm very proud. A lot of students there. Or photos that we do normally, or the way we approach our relation with them is because I'm ending here, just to make you understand. I like to arrive here. Sometimes they let us do some labs like this. I was doing with some pieces from Hayward and Cassina together this kind of chroma key room. But normally when you do the chroma key room, it's like, Hollywood or film or television, is to make this appear, the background, that the background becomes another background. As I think the background is not anymore a background in our life, it's part of our culture, we created a situation when the background that was coming was there was a big wall in front of you, and you were double. The images you had in front of you, they were in your human dimension. Then you could understand a lot of things about in between what are going to be our possibilities on working. It was very interesting. Or this, just to say you bye, is a work with a friend in a little gallery, but little, when I say little space. And we have the idea of creating, that is the gallery. We cover it, and friends of us from technology, they give us the possibility to create a big landscape, a bit crazy, where there was a community of 200 chairs, stupid chairs, because the chairs are the less smart pieces we can do. You do furniture, then you are not technologic. Then we were saying, okay, chairs are not so smart, but they don't want to be treated like objects, possibly in future. Then perhaps they have legs, they can run. Secondary, they can do in the digital world. Perhaps they can be, we gave them different levels of curiosity, of being afraid. They really had 4 human actions. Then when you were getting into the space more than one time, they were coming to you, running or escaping from you, was incredible. Then I was thinking in a hospital, in a circumstance when you have a children or person that they really don't have anything that stimulates them, because you can have, for many reasons, moments when you have many problems. How can we work on this kind of interfaces, and how interesting can be for us designers to be open to everything? Another, that was comunque getting to the reason I always, this is something that I believe, I think we have in front of us, this is for the student, we need to grow our amphibian roots, listen through our antennas. The project is always in between journeys. Empathy, for me, is our compass. build your community at micro and micro and macro distance, because the community and the family is not only the physical one you have. It's going to be something even more day by day more complex and more interesting. Create your positive contaminations that I believe strongly. Avoid don'ts. That is something that is with me that doesn't work. And break a prejudice every day. Intelligence is universal, is not only human. Remember every day. And breathe and smile, and surely. Ciao. See. Oh, I take this out? No, I go one more. See, to eliminate, no? Okay, see. Then.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, I don't know if I took 5 minutes more than...
That's fine. That's fine. My head is spinning from all the energy of that, so it's fantastic. Because of time, I'm just going to ask a couple of questions, and then I'm going to turn this over to the students who I'm sure have interesting questions to ask. But I was struck by the fact that when one thinks about furniture or furnishings or interiors, there's this sense of not stagnation, but sort of permanence or something, inhabiting a space as a part of the architecture in a way. And in your presentation, you have so much animation. You bring so much life. I mean, chairs are moving, people are wearing upholstery. It's always about energy and movement. How do you balance that sense of something that is intended to be fixed in a space with all of your vision of energy and animation and interaction?
Well, I think more and more, and I especially I think the last 2 years, I think we are moved, and many of other progettistas, people that do architecture or do design, or they are interrelated with different arguments, it's not important just to tell, my work is not just doing chairs, you know what I mean, or just doing spaces. Where it's more all what I intended in the middle of this relation. When I come to a company just to do and to focus on a new technology for a product, what all about, all the sensations that I think when we tell our stories only about images, can be a very interesting lesson that you avoid color, avoid energy, avoid everything, and you just do some little drawings, and then you tell part of you through that. That could be. But I think each, when you are telling yourself, you need to create a kind of empathic travel to make understand people what is in the back of all this. I don't awaken the moment to say today I'm going to do a new chair, a new. It's not that my intent. It's to change behaviors, to discuss, to try something that is in a different way, to not be enough happy. Then, so that I think that what moves my curiosity, my energy, to put together things that I like now, that I didn't like yesterday, that I want to melt or to put together with what I'm thinking, then that is what defines me much more than just showing the result, the stones in my path, which are the objects, for example.
Fantastic, thank you. It's such a privilege.
Perhaps because I'm older, then I begin to understand more about. I can look at myself, my path like this. What I have is things from the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I only have a few things because I wanted to tell. For me, it's been very difficult and strange to work in these 2 years. From to Melbourne, that we had to send a physical project done in a certain way and never arriving, or another one that working from home and doing a digital answer. Then that was like this.
Well, I'm glad to see that your dog found a way to have a social life during COVID. I love that image. In your earlier work, you used nature very literally, but even there, and certainly moving forward, you approach nature as a system more than an end in itself. And also, there is a sense that you get refueled from nature. In some of the travel pictures you showed, it seems like it's a really important influence for you. So How do you integrate the notion of natural systems and technology systems in as you advance new ideas?
Well, I think first when I'm speaking about my work, and in the last I have the studio from 20 years, then and we were really, what I think perhaps is interesting of my work is how much I've been a person so trying to move prejudice into the companies, created new journeys with them, finding never been enough. So through they were giving me one possibility, but we were getting much more from the relation and creating new path with them. And what I think for me, nature, I think as Timothy Morton, and I think it's not the only one, and many people are making understand is not something in front of us where we can get energy. We are nature.
Yeah.
We are part of this complex
Exactly.
situation. We are from all the point of view you can, and we are not speaking about it's not us as human centric narrative and then the nature or anything that you can get from it. We are part of it, and perhaps in the more cultural and no nature presence project, you have a lot of nature inside. Then you know what I mean. Then there are a lot of links in between everything, and the important thing that we have to understand how much any action is connected with many others, and how much I think the way we are going to be better and better is we move a little bit the point of view of only us as in an anthropocentric culture that I think gave us a lot of problems. Then we are what I want to say, the path and the last years we did a lot of things, but what I'm happy is about I always change many situations and point of view with them. That is, I think, at the end is the link that I have with. There was this man from the Museum of Design. The director, we were saying, Patricia is someone that works with people and they get together or something. She doesn't know it, they don't know. They got into a new path. I like this kind of definition. No, this is that I think is what is more important to get into. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
For example, in this book, there is I'm always a fan of a bit ironic. There is my Tropicalia chair, which is Tropicalia, but this is Albina. It's the white one. I like it a lot, the choice. Because proprio Tropicalia, she's born to work with multicolor, capito? Then we have a lot of point of view, and that is good.
Well, it definitely helps us to think differently as well, which is really important. I'm going to just ask one more question, then turn this over to the students. Because it's International Women's Day, I have to ask about some...
And very fantastic day for all of us.
I know that you are someone that pushes barriers away, but you must have encountered some challenges, gender-based challenges in your path, because you were a bit of a pioneer. And I wondered if you had advice for this new generation of women about anything that you've encountered that can give them a lesson about how to disregard the barriers that people try to put in front of them.
So I think, is my intention always to break prejudices every day, but not only to any kind of minority. I think when we are speaking about women, we are speaking about a minority. Minority is just one of the different ones. Then always trying to get more space to others, to differences, to how do you say differences? No, that is. And in a world that we know that now we have to even have not only a human attitude to understand many things. Then. Is just I think gender is I think we have to arrive to a moment when we don't have to speak about because we have accepted all the passages of the differences, no? Which is an argument real open. I don't know if I know well.
No, exactly. There's always a kind of tension between why do we have to have a certain history month, or why isn't it just every day?
In the middle, we have to fight always every day for change of it. But the change the point of view and prejudices. But it's something that I think must get very inside the person when you are very young. I think even for your young education or university, perhaps it's already too late. Because I come from a family with a lot of, for example, a lot of women, and my mother was the little sister with elder sisters, and me, I am one of the little one, the second daughter. Then I wanted to say something. They were saying, "You, why? And what? And perché? And where are you going?" And a lot of crossover of questions, and I always have to say, "No, me, I'm doing that because of," and then I always, and I like it that because I make it always me to from the. I didn't say anything, then I could disappear, that I was very good on that, and doing what I wanted, or I had to really be intended on saying, well, perhaps you don't understand, but me, I'm going to do even if you don't understand. Then it's my life. Then I believe a lot in that.
Fantastic, thank you. I'm going to take the last bit of time and open this up to questions. Is there a question from the audience?
We are here little, then I don't see you anymore.
No, we're very...
It's comfortable, I don't say anything.
Who's going to ask the first question?
Or the last question, don't worry.
Yes, thank you.
We don't see you?
Thank you.
No, sir. No, sir. Just to see you when you're asking.
This was so great. Thank you for being
thank you.
here and for your time. My name's Ariella. I'm in industrial design.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, you have worked in so many, like with so many mediums and different collaborations, and it sounds like across like cultures as well.
Yeah.
Like in Spain, Milan, etc. What are spaces in which you felt most creative, or like the environments that helped you feel like you were making your best work, whatever that means for you?
If you ask me which is, I don't have this. Perhaps I don't have this kind, but I don't have this kind of approach. It's very important. I discuss a lot with Alberto. Alberto is my husband and his partner in work, no, and or with the team I have. Is sometimes at the beginning I'm very slow when we have to take our new work, because I don't know what can we get from that work, what can we investigate, or what can we get from us, which is necessary to give an intent to that relation that is going to be work, it's going to be a bit complex for many ways. Then that is for me the important thing. I don't say that I've been, me, for example, I'm working in glass in Murano, but we were the other day speaking together, and the big engines for this so crafted part of work that I love is all with gas. Then they were disparate. And I've been a day in Murano with a lot of good energy and a lot of bad energy, because the main problem that existed was focus in the conversation. Then there are a lot of hyper objects, which they are very dense all around us, that we cannot control, and we feel a bit lost many times. But at the same time, through the normal things that you do, you can get. But I enjoyed textile. I enjoyed working in furniture and technical. I enjoy working with digital a lot. I'm really. I think that the world which is surrounding me is so complex that I am a curious person. I'm strongly curious, no more than this. Then you don't know where the path takes you, and it's a good thing. That is what I enjoy the most. Really.
We have time for a couple more over here.
Say.
And then you're next.
Yeah. I answer very quick like this. You can do the question too. And you.
Hello,
Ciao.
Katerina, and I have a personal question. To what extent can you attribute your success to luck?
Sorry, I didn't understand very well.
To what
Hey?
extent can you attribute your success to
Fortuna
luck?
always. I don't know. I think you. Why? See, surely is. But I think even the best things you do, in the path of a project, they come because of even serendipity. Even, but the good thing that is, you have to how they alimentare to to feed your path with things that, and I don't say feed your path with a lot of culture. It's too much traditional. Feed the path with all the things that they get into your curiosity, and sometimes they can be so it can be very tense, this kind. And then but when you are curious about something, get deep on it. Get interest, and then all these things, then they get into as a crossover inside your project, in your things. Then it's not that you, when you're doing a project, you are the one who knows and do. You get into that, you get really intended, and you put all what you is your sensibility. Then let's go out this sensibility through the path. Then it's notice that at the end we are the stupid or the creative people. Like, we are fantastically stupid. I like that, because we let a lot of the emotional side work in a natural way with our intelligence. Then that is a very interesting crossover, but it's not so easy to define or to say. Then I think you have to feed your point of view with things that you really believe, and then they are credible for others. Because if you feed it in the right way, then people understand that when you are put it into the project. That I don't know how to explain better. You ask too? Say, I've done. We never arrived the microphone. Go. Go.
You mentioned that your phone is like an extension of your head, and you spend so much of your work.
Of your mind.
Yeah, and so much of your work is like with digital and
it's
virtual
the prosthesis for your mind.
technologies.
Sorry.
And so much of your work is like with virtual technologies.
See.
How do you see that relationship between ourselves and technology in design and in art in the future and with your work?
I think in the way you are still doing pieces which are relative to as extensions of your body in the more traditional way, a glass, you are doing things which are the extension of your hand for drinking or for something, or a chair which is extension of a third leg to sit. But we are speaking about all the prostheses that exist now, and they are evolving, and they are extension of our mind. Is another metric. It's not a physical metric. Then they need all of us, the creative community, with more imagination and more open-minded attitude to approach intelligence. I think. I think there is a lot of. There's a new metric. It's more anemic. The products, the more smart they became, the more they say, don't sit now because now it's wet. It's like if the chair was saying to me, then I stop on doing it. Or any instrument for moving is gonna be always. But what I want to say, the metrics are changing when we are speaking about prosthesis of the mind. Then it's a very interesting open word. I don't believe that, if you are really capable and interested in craft, you cannot be really open and capable to do a good work related to technology. I think that these two, industrial design, where this industrial design was the credo when I was young, and now I think is craft and technology. That is the duo, and then each one will do a different way. Perhaps you are. So it depends. So perhaps you were asking. See.
So you've done thousands of projects, and there must have been times in between where you had a tough time coming up with new ideas.
No, perhaps with the microphone better.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you've done thousands of projects and lots of ideas, but what do you do in between? Like, what do you do? How do you overcome art block?
The white page is, Castiglioni was always saying, that doesn't mean that you have a big experience and you have a lot of years, that things became easier from a certain point of view, from the important point of view of doing a good work. Then it's because I did the 5 minutes in that exhibition. I wanted to put something to make them understand. That is so. We can use a lot of words, but if you just see 5 minutes of my phone, you understand what is in the middle of all these in-betweens. Then at the end, I think if we have, we use our sensibility, each project, you begin from zero a little bit. Because part of the project needs that you get into with a new, with an, I will be not nice, I'm doing, this chair. Magistrati was always saying, I did a lot of chairs because at the end like this I could do 3 or 4 nice or interesting ones. I think it was a little bit cynic answer because he didn't know what to say, because he was perhaps the only one of the things he knew how to do, and the industry was asking a lot for that, and he was a man always trying to get a project from each, ceci n'est pas une pipe. At the end, you can do a chair, but you can be searching a lot of things, and the anemic function is part of the function. Then there were a lot of answers to give to the questions they were doing to him, but I think the in-between is living, no? It's the phone, it's you, it's your life. I did a work as teacher that the first month they couldn't do anything, drawing and nothing physical, and they hated me and I had obliged them to do a project with the phone. They only could use that because they had all of them. They said, well, you had it, now you use it. And that was so interesting, the way that the creativity of the team came out, that we were excited. Then after 1 month, I have a team of persons that were so excited that we could do anything. And I think that is, for example, my attitude. Well,
that's a great, I think, point to end on. So thank you all. Let's join me in giving a big thank you.